Well, if you've seen this, Mickey 17 is out now. It's our movie review that we did for this week, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Stars Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, Steven Yeun, and a lot of other incredible actors and performances.
I love that Toni Collette was in this. I fucking love her. Like, I will watch anything she's in, and she's chef's kiss.
A slightly different role for Toni. We'll get into it, but I agree. She's one of my favorites. She's one of my favorites. That voice you heard, if you're not watching on YouTube or Spotify, is the Feisty Pisces, Erica McMullen. Also on the call, the Gerber baby-faced assassin, Adrian Cedeno. How
Hey,
you
guys.
doing, brother?
Good. Thanks for having me here.
Having you here. I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way. We don't have it any way. Anthony's not available. I'm the movie Mamba, Michael Ornelas, and as mentioned, we're talking about Mickey 17, new Bong Joon-ho movie. I went to see it last night in theater. Erica, I think you saw it last night. Yeah, Adrian, you saw it, I think, like when it first came out last week or something, right? Yeah. All right, high level. What do we think?
Liked it.
Okay. That's a great, like, critic quote. I liked it, but it's fucking weird. Yeah.
I liked it
Adrian?
because it was weird.
Yeah.
Gives you a whole new meaning to like living to die.
Yeah,
for sure.
The charm behind it, kind of kept me in,
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho is an incredibly interesting director. He's almost like, though his style itself is like a duality of man, right? Some of his stuff is very, thought-provoking and wholesome, the Okjas of the world. And then you have like heavy, dark, substanced material like Parasite or Mother, Memoirs of a Murder. I don't know if you guys have seen all those, but they're just very different conversations. And I think this movie actually dances around both types of genres.
It kind of fits right in between. It's like the sweet spot for him, I think.
Yeah.
Of what his movies typically are.
100%. And it's been a busy week for me watching things. One thing we were talking about is adjusting our seeing this, and one thing we want to introduce to span more movies, TV shows, things that might be on that we want to talk about, let you guys, you listeners, discover, is to talk about what we've watched this week. So, Adrian, maybe you can kick us off if there's anything this week before we get into the Mickey 17 full review that you watched this week that you want to share some love.
Yeah. I watched Novocaine.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid,
That's
your
my
stock.
boy. That's my stock. How'd my stock do?
There's been better.
Okay.
It's a fun movie. Don't take it too seriously.
My favorite.
it had a interesting storyline that it was unique, but apparently it's a real disease, real thing, real disorder. So in that sense,
like he
cool.
doesn't feel pain, right? Is the premise.
Right. And because of that, he's like sheltered all his life because their life expectancy is super short. Because they don't feel pain. They could like
Boy in the Bubble kind of thing.
Yeah. Like he could bite his tongue off, so he never eats anything solid. He mashes everything up and drinks it.
Gross.
It's stuff like that, and then he's exposed to it from a girl, a love interest, and then it turns his life upside down. So
I mean, listen, for being an okay movie, you pitched it pretty well. Like the premise.
That's why I said, like, it's an interesting topic. It's just, for
execution a little.
I liked it, and I'm sure you guys will watch it once and be like, okay, this is cool, but maybe it was a waste of your time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth
the violence, right? I think it's violent.
There's a lot
right?
of gore in it. Yeah.
Okay. That's Novocaine out in theaters now. Jack Quaid, my stock. Hey, it's on the rise. It's a movie. Erica, what you see anything this week?
Actually, watch She's the Man.
That was your form of protest since we didn't cover it on an anniversary episode, right?
It was. Well, apparently next year's the 20th anniversary. This year's the 19th, so we could do it next year.
We'll join you for that one.
Yeah. But yeah, classic movie. It's like a rite of passage for soccer players to watch that. If you don't know, I played soccer for more than half of my life, so staple movie, and it still slaps. It's just still so funny.
What position did you play?
I played outside defense. Well, started off as a forward, but ended up playing outside defender all of my life.
Oh, you're a runner, huh?
Not anymore. There's two types of retired soccer players. Ones who end up really loving running and run for the rest of their life, and people who will never
And
run ever again in
Erica.
their life and will do yoga and things to calm them down, and that's me.
Sure. Excellent. Well, I saw a couple movies in theater that are older. I went to see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I think I might have mentioned that last pod. I'm a big softie with movies. Like, it's not I mean, it's, you guys both have seen it? Or Adrian, you haven't seen it
It's
yet.
I still
sad.
haven't seen it.
First
I
of
still
all,
haven't seen it.
it is fucking sad when you look at it from
The
just
whole
a
thing.
very objective perspective of these being patients, some being criminals, just the whole idea of what they all go through is
Mhm.
fucking sad. You're
So
allowed to be.
Jack Nicholson is admitted into a state mental ward for some violent crimes he committed. And what's interesting, what I caught this time is he's in there essentially for statutory rape. He rapes an underage woman, right? That's at the beginning of the movie. The fact the movie somehow gets us to be on the side of a rapist, like realistically, and like root for him and whatever, is pretty amazing writing that you can get away with that. But just like, I think what really hit me is being able to watch like the symbolism of the film. I mean, it's an old ass movie. Clearly, I think it's like 50. It's the 50th this year. But like the last scene with Keith doing what he's doing is just so symbolic to like humanity, the constraints we have on us, and our natural need to break free. I thought it was incredible.
Thanks for spoiling it, Mikey. Now I can't go watch it.
That doesn't spoil anything. Fuck
Now
out
I
of here.
can't go watch it.
Yeah, sure. Watch it
Spoil the
back.
movie that's been out for 50 years.
Yeah.
You just got done saying, Adrian, you haven't seen it yet, right? Oh, let me
I
tell
didn't
you.
spoil
The
anything.
last scene.
I just said the symbolism of
All
it. I
good,
didn't say
all
what
good.
happens in the last scene. And then last night, my actual double feature to Mickey 17, I went and saw 10 Things I Hate About You. Julia Stiles, forever a fanboy. She's just so good in that movie. Heath
You want to
Ledger.
know what's crazy is you love Julia Stiles, but you don't appreciate her in the Bourne
Identity.
series.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not there
The
yet.
Bourne franchise. You need to watch that.
Things to look forward to. I'm very excited about it now that you mentioned she's in it. But great writing. Again, another movie I've seen a lot of times. But one thing, if you watch 10 Things I Hate About You, that I think is underrated is the camera work. This camera is the cinematographer is working overtime on unnecessary movements or whatever, but it elevates the movie to make it what it is, you know? So shout out cinematography, really makes a difference in the world. Anything else? You guys seen it? Any TV shows?
Ooh, I just started watching a show, Going Dutch.
Okay, what's that?
Dennis Leary. I just like Dennis Leary. But I binge watched the first season of that, caught up to it on Hulu, I think. But it's just like a comedy show about a like general who was kind of like an absent father, uh, super like chauvinistic, narcissist kind of guy, Dennis Leary, getting like demoted and sent instead of like dishonorably discharged, they send him to, Netherlands at the military base that has no combat, no like absolutely like the easiest going. And it
He's
happens to be
aggro and nothing to do.
his estranged daughter is the one runs it. Now she's in the military, and so that gets the whole relationship between them. She's always dogging him because he's never around, was never around, and he's trying to fix things.
Comedy?
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Okay. Dennis
Um,
Leary loves his roles in uniform.
yeah,
He
for
likes
sure.
being a man in uniform for sure. All right. Any TV for you, Erica? And
Um,
binging?
I'm like testing new shows.
Yeah.
I have a really bad habit of like watching one episode of a show and then not really feeling it and maybe starting another different show and going about that. And yeah, I haven't really like stuck with one yet. I've had a lot of recommendations about Succession, so I think I'm
You've
gonna
never done that one, huh?
I haven't. It is on my list, but I think that'll be the next one to test one episode.
I think you dig it, and I think the pilot episode specifically does a good job of like kind of what we are talking about
I
before the
love
pod to
Adam
draw
Scott.
people.
I
Mm.
absolutely adore him. Love him and everything he does. So
He's not in Succession.
Yes, he is.
You're thinking of Severance.
Or no,
Yeah. Succession is Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin.
thinking of Severance then.
Yeah.
I've gotten recommendations about Severance, not Succession. Sorry, the S is really...
So wait, have you seen Succession?
No.
Is it on your list?
No.
Okay.
Severance is.
Yeah, Severance is on my list too.
You can edit all of that, right?
No, it's staying live. Well, listen, we should coordinate because I haven't started either, and I want to. And maybe we can do Severance check-in as well. See how that goes.
Yeah.
But today we're here to talk Mickey 17.
Have you seen this?
Have you seen it?
Have you seen this? I know, I've seen this. I know this.
I think one thing that I really found we're changing words, fascinating about this movie is, like I said, it blends a lot of genres together. It's trying to do a lot of things, and I think sometimes it's to its detriment. Mickey 17 is fun. It's well written as far as like scene to scene, but as a whole cohesive collection, I feel like he was going for a lot. Like he rubs up against the edge of like a lot of brilliant ideas and themes that I would love to dive into.
It was scattered.
And we don't really get to revisit some of these things that like probably would have made the movie tighter if we would have focused on one thing over another. Overall, I enjoyed it. I know usually I kick to you guys to give your thoughts first, but I wanted to jump off because it's fresh in my mind.
Or don't you usually have like a guest speaker?
I do, but for this one, I'm going to say for spoilers to bring
Gotcha.
him in. It's a very special guest. I mean, maybe the most famous guest as far as the pod goes that we've had yet. But overall, I think it was a fun movie. This is what I'll say for you guys. Brain off, fun, adventurous, creative.
It's the way I live, baby. Brain off.
You know, like if you're not thinking about it too much, great movie. Brain on, it's loose. There's a lot of things that don't get paid off. We don't get enough time with certain characters.
Yeah.
And I think that really like by the end of the movie, specifically in the third act, it's like damn, we were right there. There's something.
Because like it almost felt that like those, what he wanted to pay off, those little nuggets that he would like plant, if they didn't pay off, it really felt like a waste of time. Like this movie was 2 hours and 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
It did feel a little long. It did feel a little long.
Like, did it need to be?
I think like some of the, like I even caught myself like kind of yawning in like parts of the second act, or like kind of just feel the energy drain down. And it would pick up, like, you know, any movie has a lull, but it's about what you do with that lull and how tight a story is. And I think it fell a little short there. But Adrian, what do you think at a high level? I know we kind of said high level already, but a little more in depth. Like what worked for you? What didn't?
Well, like I said, I watch movies pretty much brain off. So I really enjoyed it. I think I rated it 4 stars. I really liked it. I thought Pattinson, I'm not a fan of his, and I think he freaking killed it.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of like the narrator, like no way this is his voice, and I kept like trying to look like, was it narrated by somebody else? Like, is he just playing with his voice that great? Like, and each Mickey was like different voices. I thought he did really good. I really appreciated the Mark Ruffalo character and how he tapped into Donald Trump style. I for sure appreciated it. I thought it was a really good movie. Brain off, loved it. Brain on, I get what you're saying, but I think that is a part of the director and the writers, like there's beauty in what's not said, right? Like, and I keep trying to tell you guys, like, when you guys say, well, the writing was lazy or whatever, like, but I think it leads to like when you want more, it helps me to like go off on my own tangents. It like takes me to a place like, man, I want a 3D printer, and like what kind of issues would I be going through? Like, you know what I mean? So it gets my brain going on those things that like I wish he gave us a little more, but I'm glad he didn't because it made me go and get more like for
Right.
myself, you know?
Right. Well, let me get. I forgot our letterbox description here. So let me give this. He's 17, directed and written by Bong Joon-ho. He's dying to save mankind. Unlikely hero Mickey Barnes finds himself in an extraordinary circumstance of working for an employer who demands the ultimate commitment to the job, to die for a living. I have a lot of questions around like the system and like how there's only one expendable, which isn't really a spoiler, but I'll save some of that. Erica, what like overall, what worked, what didn't work?
I think like overall, like the concept worked because we're very much in a position like where that happens. It's happened in our history over and over and over and over again. Taking resources that aren't ours and making them extravagant, making them um what's it called when it's like
A
that's their own, like
delicacy.
it's so prized, like it's a prized possession kind of thing. It's very American to feel a certain way about, to really glorify something.
A sauce.
Yeah, the sauce and just, invading a space, claiming it for our own, exploiting the resources. Very on brand, like very, very on brand. I love Robert Pattinson. Like I said before, I think in a previous post, he's one of the franchise trio who just gets to like do whatever movie he wants and be a little freak and get it done. And he got to do this, like he got to be a little freak in multiple different ways. I was talking to my mom about it last night about how it very much reminded me of James McAvoy in Split, where he has
Yeah, sure.
essentially play the same person but with very different personalities, even though it's the same body, like the same person technically. So I just like seeing Robert Pattinson in those roles because I think he's gonna be like one of like the underrated greats. Like everyone like will give him flowers, but it'll never be enough because of how talented he really is. Really liked seeing him in this movie and loved the dynamics that all of the other actors gave in
Yeah.
this too.
Everyone was.
Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna. Everyone's in the same movie. Like everyone understood the assignment for the most
Yeah.
part. For the most part, yeah.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of our discussion we should just jump into spoilers and get into it so then we don't give more away. But at a high level, I would recommend if you haven't seen it yet, it is in theaters. Worth seeing in theaters, I think. Just because of the scale. Oftentimes when you're in space, though we don't get like a lot of space like outside of the ship until later. I would still say worth checking out at the very least. It's great. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So Donald Trump inspiration to Mark Ruffalo. Let's start with Mark Ruffalo. I thought it was fantastic because of the tone of the movie, right? Like because it's already a bit of a satire. What Ruffalo is doing is on another level. It's like a poor Trump impersonation
But
on
it's good.
purpose, but
On
it's good.
purpose,
Yeah.
yeah, like, he purposely went so basic and, like, lame and
Like
stupid, but
just
it's
the
like,
lips
that's
and
so fucking
Yeah.
perfect. Like,
I
that's
can't
just
even do it.
literally exactly what you would expect in that situation, though. Like, he went just stupid enough to make it amazing.
And if you know anything about Mark Ruffalo, he's a huge activist, is out protesting specifically around what's happening to this country. So I must imagine for him as an actor, like what a treat. But for him to just totally have an opportunity to like dig into and make fun of Trump. And there's
it
that
was
scene,
perfect.
there's this scene early on where like he's talking and he even does like that little dance. Like it's real quick. It's real quick as the camera's moving. And that like fucking killed me because it's not Trump, but it's Trump adjacent. You know what I mean?
I like you said, he was impersonating Trump, but purposely trying to do it bad. And
Yeah.
in turn, it was
It was
so
great.
good. It was
Yeah.
so good.
It was almost like a blend of like an Elon Trump character. And what's fascinating is this was written, years ago before Trump got back into office. So it's interesting to think, if Trump didn't get into office, how would this hit?
Right,
Would
right.
it hit better or worse?
Then some of the dialogue
Mm,
too was like, oh, what were we expecting? You know what I mean? Like, what was the expectations like when this movie was filmed? You know what I mean?
yeah, as well. But the fact that that's what I always find fascinating is when movies are written like obviously years before, but they're even more relatable or important once it's released. It's like a level of foresight, that some movies become timeless with themes that we still deal with, right? From like even the 60s to now. But my guest, let's not forget my guest. My guest today is from what some argue the greatest movie of all time. I won't give my opinion because I don't want to disrespect our guest. But Don Vito Corleone is my guest today. And I wanted an opportunity to share his words on what I thought about Mickey 17.
Look how they massacred my boy.
That's it. Look how they massacred my boy. They massacred Robert Pattinson. And I think it also applies to they massacred the end of the movie. We could save the discussion on how it ends a bit later, but I just feel like the third act specifically felt very like, okay, we got to tie things together.
Yeah, like everything that we left open, let's tie it up real quick, and then boom, 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 everybody's happy.
Maybe let me just go through maybe some nitpicks I had. Here's the thing. Before I get into it, love this movie. Like I said, you should go watch it. But when you have a director like Bong who won an Academy Award for Parasite Best Picture a few years ago, like you have a certain level of expectation, and it's almost like a curse, right? Because you expect something. With that being said, because it's him, it's a great movie. But one thing that I think bothered me the most was if you guys remember Kai, who was like the white, well, she might have been Latin. I'm not sure.
Hispanic, yeah.
Hispanic, yeah.
She wanted Mickey also.
She wanted Mickey also, but she had the love of her life who died in that ice cave, and then like
I
moments.
hated that. I hated that storyline. It would have made sense if they did their almost kiss, Mickey ran away, and then nothing else happened with that. Because maybe it was like a moment of vulnerability where she's feeling sad and he's just there. But the fact that they wanted to run with that and make her like want one of the Mickeys for herself, I hated that. That was stupid.
I thought that it was like foreshadowing early on that maybe she's a multiple or she's like a clone
Expendable.
because there was a point where like Mickey tells her like, did you change your shampoo, right? Which is like an indicator
smell
that like
different. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
smell different, right? And then the way she was shot was like she had alternative motives, like she was a clone for Marshall, right? Ruffalo's character. And then there was never any payoff of that. Like her motivations were so lost. And then just to wrap it all up at the end, she's got like a partner there at the end of the movie. And it's
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah,
What? I didn't understand any of that.
didn't make sense.
Um,
Wasn't necessary at all.
Wait, by
Yeah.
partner you mean it was that girl that dies, right? Like the thing she shoots up in the sky and then it caves down on her.
yeah.
So that's what kind of threw me off. Like, okay, so her partner was a female, and then all of a sudden she wants Mickey.
Not like you could be bi, but whether you're straight, gay, whatever, if your love of your life just
That's what I'm
died,
saying.
and then you're going on to like try to hit on someone, like very physically, very like, hey, are you guys open? Like pretty shady, like shady action. And I never get a good bearing of like, what do we do with this character? Like, what's
Well,
her?
you never get like you never get her purpose.
Yeah,
Like she
yeah.
she really has no purpose other than the fact that her partner dies. You find out that they really just want her for her uterus, like to make babies to repopulate this whole
Right.
planet.
And that's also why I thought maybe she was like, that was her purpose. Like they made her for
Like
that.
they made her an expendable maybe like for that, like
the
that would have made
mother
sense.
Queen Bee,
Yeah.
yeah. But they never revisit
you
any
never
of that.
really get anything with her character. That bothered me a lot.
So I think she was just like like a sex bot, right? Like I think you're saying like she was an expendable, created to be that. But I think they kind of foreshadow that in the beginning when he's like, okay, sex takes up too much energy and too much rations, so no more sex of any kind on the ship. And of course, Mickey,
They
who's an
gotta say
expendable
that.
and
They gotta
has
say
very
that
small.
before. They gotta say that before the flight. That's gonna change a lot of people's decision to go on this mission. You gotta
So
mention that
I
before.
think that's a part of it. I think that was her purpose, and I think that's what they're foreshadowing and leaving for you to be like, okay,
Maybe. I
this
mean,
whole
maybe.
thing is just about sex because she's the only one with an expendable, Nasha. She's the only one with an expendable, and really it's not hurting the rations because he only gets the tiniest amount anyways, whether he's having a bunch of sex or not, burning off all
Yeah,
that energy.
they
She's
break
the
down the
only one
ration.
that would be doing it. Yeah.
They break down the rations to calorie level, which
Right.
goddamn, that's tough.
So she's the only one who would be affecting it, and she's still getting to enjoy herself while the rest of the ship can't do anything.
If that's the case, the benefit of the doubt is that they did foreshadow it very loosely. And that also you kind of see Toni Collette's character, who plays Ruffalo's wife, who's kind of, to Toni Collette's point we're talking about, she often is very big and very expressive. We get a bit of a mild, more reserved Toni here, which is still great, which I think is
Yeah.
great. But she reveals part of the plan, and he's like, "Oh, is now the time to discuss that? Like the sex thing, right? Is now the time?" So I think talking about it now in live action or real time, uh, it parallels what's happening here in the country, right? Trump said certain things would happen, or, oh no, that's not us. We're not going to do Project 25 or whatever the fuck it is. But now that things are moving forward, it's like things are getting revealed. So there was that interesting parallel as well. One other thing that I thought this movie didn't really do enough on was really the exploration of the implications of this technology. Like Adrian, you said, it sparked you to be like, oh, I want a 3D printer. Like, what can I do with it? Like, just think of the chaos if there was a printer that can like print people. Like, again, I do like that they incorporated the crime aspect. I didn't understand the significance of like a serial killer developing the technology, and how does that correlate to now multiples
Well,
are
he
equal?
didn't develop the
Contribute.
technology. He worked for the company and had access and contributed to it.
Uh-huh.
He himself was a serial killer.
Right.
So
But how does that translate to the technology where when Mickey is a double, he's more aggressive, and like how does, like, you know what I mean? Like what did he contribute as the serial killer to now multiples that are made are like aggressive, or you know what I mean?
Motion.
I think it was more of just like when you I think it not necessarily like the more aggressive thing, because we found that with each Mickey, there was a certain
Aggression.
well, there was a certain personality trait that
Sure.
came out more over the others. So, like with Mickey 17, we see him as a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more patient, a little bit more understanding about kind of like everything that's going on around him, a little bit hyper aware of everything that's going around him, versus Mickey 18, where he just like doesn't give a fuck about it. I think the point of like having the serial killer was more of just highlighting how much you can get away with having multiples. I don't
Or
necessarily
again,
think
like
it
the
had anything
implication
to
of it.
do with him being a serial killer and then Mickey 18 being
See, it just
aggressive.
happenstance
I
that
think it's more of
18
just
was this
happenstance that,
version.
like, this is the problem with having multiples, because if the extreme case is a serial killer, this is what ends up happening. I think it was more of that, more so of, like, the aggressive personality that comes out with Mickey, because we know he's gonna be a different kind of Mickey anyway.
When we got the double of Mickey, the first thing I thought, because it happens relatively early on, when the
Yeah.
double comes, and I thought, oh, this movie's gonna look at like the duality of man. Like you have this version of yourself, which is often in conversation with yourself. I mean, we're talking about inner dialogue a little bit
Like,
earlier
I want
before
to
the
Yeah.
be
show.
more like this. Why can't I be more of that? And then
Yeah,
you see, okay, well, if it was really more of that, how would it really? Yeah, it was
We
dope.
don't explore that. It's just like really quick, that idea, and then the movie has other goals it wants to achieve as the story goes through. Another thing that kind of bothered me, and this is my last shit on the movie or challenge with the movie. I was really confused, and it's because we don't get a lot of backstory on Nasha, the girlfriend, or no, they're not married. Yeah, the girlfriend,
The lover. Yeah.
the love interest, played by Naomi Aki. I thought she was great. I
I
really like her
love
as an
her in this
actress.
movie.
I think she's really great, but as far as her character goes, I was very thrown off when like she was having a good time with 18 and was like, "Oh, great, I have two of you now." And the reason why I was thrown off is because she's now really subjectifying him as just like a physical specimen, which threw me off considering she's been with him since the beginning. But then I guess the explanation is she was high on oxy.
You have to remember too, we kind of get we do get her explanation at the very not the very end, but towards like where the climax is here and we're slowly going down into the very end of the movie. He explains that she would do literally anything for Mickey.
She would be in there as he was dying for that
She'd be in there as he
flu
was
virus.
dying. She would threaten other people, was very protective of him, was very attached. Like he said, that was his soulmate. So I know what you mean about like, oh my God, how could she suddenly do this and be high? But like, even her being high is something that she's doing for Mickey because Mickey's the one.
Like 18 though, because he's
18. Well, it doesn't matter what
yeah, I
number.
get it.
They're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
because
yeah,
Mickey.
yeah.
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 free Mickey. That's where it kind of
Is that
completes.
not true love? Like when you accept
Yeah,
a person for everything, not just
because
picking
Mickey
things.
18 is the one who
Like Mikey,
sees
Mikey, you
him.
don't know because you don't love love.
Here we go.
But Mickey 18 is the one who gets the unfiltered
Yeah.
oxy because he sees what's his face. I always forget his name in the movie because he pissed me off so
Steven
Timo.
Yeun.
well.
Timo.
He
I like
sees
that
Timo
name.
dealing it. So like that's what I mean where it's like even her doing the unfiltered oxy is for Mickey. Like Mickey comes, it's like, let's try it. And she's like, fuck yeah, you're the love of my life. Let's try it. It's like, that to me is what it meant was she was just willing to do whatever he wanted and vice versa.
Adrian, would you make a double of Rosalind?
No, I would not at all.
You got the perfect version, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll help you out here. Perfect. Everything's good. Awesome. What other thing we've got to talk about? And I mean, obviously, if there's anything you guys want to touch on, please feel free. But we meet these what Ruffalo coins as creepers, right? So they're on this mission. They're on this ship for I think 4 months. 4 months, right? Or 4 years. 4 months.
4 years.
4 years and 4 years. To this planet, and Ruffalo's character Marshall is a failed politician, and he has this vision of exploration to this new planet where we will colonize it, right? And they discover these creatures that are creepers. Don't know if they're aggressive, don't know anything.
They
Shoot
like
first,
look like big roly polies.
yeah, right, with tentacles underneath all that, which was actually a pretty cool design. I thought, like, when I saw the promotion of the movie, Bong was going around with the little, like, stuffy of it. I was like, oh, that's cute. But it actually looks pretty gnarly. And the CGI is pretty decent, all things considered, for this movie. But
That was my one nitpick. That
you didn't think so?
I liked the way they looked, and I just didn't like their weapon. Like when they threaten mankind, and he's like, "Oh, if we don't get that baby back, if you guys hurt that baby, you guys are all gonna die." Like, oh well, how? And it's just like this screech, like this sound that's gonna make everybody's heads and eyeballs explode.
Which part didn't you like that was because
That
they
was
were
their secret
bluffing?
weapon.
Well, they were bluffing. Right at the end, we find out like, oh, we can't do that shit. We
Right.
just said that to like scare you, right?
He does.
Right,
Yeah.
but
I did like that defense maneuver that they got into where they start spinning
so
to like
cool.
hide the queen. Like that was pretty cool to check out.
I
Because
believe bees
they
do
were like, "Which
that.
one do we do? Which one do we attack?"
yeah, which I didn't see coming. Like I was thinking like, all right, what's gonna happen when this motherfucker gets out there to the big roly poly? But I really like that idea. I do think that they were a little loose again with like the payoff at the end, because now they're all living together and it's like, all right, well, you killed one of ours, you kill one of yours. Technically, two of ours got killed, right? 18 and Ruffalo. But now it's even though she sliced off the little
The
oh
tail.
boy, the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
tail for her sauce. I was like, honestly, it did a great job. Very momentarily, be like, oh, yeah, this is what we do to fucking animals. You know what I mean? But then I went and got a club
Sausage.
sandwich. It's tough, man. This is a tough world. It's tough. But yeah, I really like the creepers. I thought they weren't as cute as I thought they would be. I thought like Okja, for example, is a very like cute creature, cow creature. Whereas here, like, it was pretty gnarly. They had some gnarly looks.
No, I thought the babies were so cute.
It
um,
definitely had a Cruella de Vil type, feel to Tony. Like I think
Oh, sure.
instead of Dalmatian, she was like, let's take these little babies and cut
I
their
need my
tails off.
sauce.
Yeah.
yeah.
Need a good sauce. Yeah, Tony Collette is incredible. She's one of my favorite actresses. Adrian, we got to do like Erica, one of our episodes. We got to do a rewatch of Hereditary and Adrian's first time, and
She
be
should
there
have
for the
won an
live
award
reaction.
for that
Oh,
performance.
100%. She's incredible.
That's what it
Anyways,
makes me so upset about like horror not really getting its due, because her speech to her son alone in that film is
yeah,
moving,
yeah,
fucking insane.
to say the least.
But kind of like what you were playing on at the end, though, it, like we said, it was just kind of, it was very anticlimactic. Like we kind of got like a good like, okay, where is this gonna go? And then Nasha to the rescue. But it was also kind of like they threw both Mickeys out there, expecting them to comply with these orders when it's very obvious throughout the entire film that would never happen. Like they would never, especially when it's Mickey 18, like there was no way he was ever going to comply with any orders that he was ever given.
Right.
But how
Right.
do
He
they
was
know
the
that?
rebel.
Huh?
None of them. Nobody knows how each Mickey is gonna come out except
Based
Nasha.
on him trying to murder Mark Ruffalo's character, like when he tries to shoot him and is in the jail, they see him try help Nasha get out of the cell. Like there was just so many actual actions that he does where it's like you can't help but wonder how they didn't
Just shoot
know
him
that
right then on sight.
they didn't really care about dying. Like in
Yeah.
all honesty, like regardless of him saying he's afraid at the end and all of that stuff, he really isn't afraid of dying, regardless of there being a machine or not. Like, there was never a question of him obeying orders. Like, it wasn't.
You're talking about 18 specifically.
I'm talking about 18 specifically.
Yeah. Maybe you guys can help me here. This is something I got stuck on, and maybe it was a misinterpretation by me. I interpreted it. I needed one for this episode. When Mickey dies, that he's automatically printed. Like somehow the machine knows that he's dead, so it prints a new Mickey. Is how I thought it had worked. No,
I don't think so.
a human clicks print once. So
It's
I
actually
guess
a team of humans, and they're not exactly the
And they're not-
brightest,
yeah.
or like they're teenagers. Like that's like me telling my kid, like, "Hey, can you print out a kidney for me?" Like, no, it's gonna come out lopsided.
you need the tray to catch the kidney.
Again, a very beautiful representation of how certain people were picked for positions
Jobs
in our
of-
government.
100%.
Like, kicks the cord out from under his head, plugs it
Oh
back in.
shit! Plug it back in. Yeah. Good call. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I thought that was pretty funny, like commentary on like people that are in responsible positions and like even maybe generationally, what they bring to the table.
No, it's not an automatic thing, because essentially if the program ever got shut down, they just don't print Mickey again.
I guess because it's such a violation to have multiples to then print him without confirming he's dead, especially since Stephen Yen saw him, like.
But that's kind of like the Stitch, right?
Right,
Is
they're
like
not
he's
competent.
competent
Yeah, fair. All right.
But they're like, yeah, he'll be dead soon. not realizing that, no, this is intelligent life. They're going to save his life. You know what I mean? Like the time and detail, the science behind it is not explored. So
Yeah, I think that's its biggest flaw. Like, there's just so, I mean, we said enough. There's just so many things to explore between politics, religion. I mean, we didn't even touch on that. Like, it's very hinted that, like, the religious church home base is almost like backing this exploration and has
no, they
martial.
are. Like, you
It,
see the religious symbol. There's prayers that are going on all the time. There's
yeah,
his
we didn't even talk about the dinner that they have.
Like, it's
no,
typical colonization.
but
Like,
throughout the entire film, what does he have? He has a religious leader over his shoulder, whispering things into his ear, telling him what he should do, telling him what his next move should be, telling him what's going to look powerful. All of these things. He has that proverbial devil on the shoulder whispering things that he needs to do. So it's I know you say he hinted at it, but it's very
yeah,
blatantly.
yeah,
It
it's blatant.
it is. It just, again, we didn't really explore
Mikey's
more of
just
that. Like,
selfish,
what kind? I want more.
greedy.
Give me
Yeah, you
more of
want
Yeah.
this
more,
world.
and
Well,
we're
I
like,
think
dude,
too,
he did enough. The rest is
coming
up to
from
you.
but coming from that director and seeing what he can do and the completeness of his other stories that he has. I mean, you hope and pray that a story will, at the very end to it, you ask questions. And so, storytelling, when it happens in movies, that's what you want the end to be. But there were certain things that just weren't complete that we needed to have satisfied in the movie in order for us to ask further questions.
I don't know. I felt the same way about Parasite. Like, I think it was very similar, and in the sense, like, I thought lots of questions. There was lots of stuff that was left unsaid in
I
But there was
Parasite that I
disagree.
was
still
like, oh,
sweetness. There was still like a
why? Because you see the lights on and like he's down under in the basement or whatever. Like,
well, yeah, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
And let's not
knowing
spoil
that,
a separate movie.
spoiler alert, but knowing that makes you ask different questions. That's
Yeah, I
all I'm
think.
saying is like,
Yeah, I
we
think.
didn't get closure on certain things that would have further been able for us to like ask questions. So it's like, okay, well then,
Yeah.
like, there was no point in this character or no point in this character. Why was she like this and why were they like that?
I think if there was maybe like one area that the movie didn't tighten up and like we had like what did I say, Kai or whatever, like, okay, yeah, that was weird, and everything else hit, I think it'd be more digestible. I think because he tried to hit so many beats and touch so many topics that didn't go with like a clear resolution or like a callback is why I think that's the biggest issue with this movie. If it wasn't Bong, I don't know if we would be as critical. I mean, it could be a curse that we have a bias against a director we might know. I don't
Yeah.
know. But overall, we'll move to our Commodus Scale. Adrian, kick us off. Thumbs up from you. Erica,
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up.
thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up. 3 thumbs up. It's a good movie. End of the day, it's a good movie. It just,
I have a friend who told me
you
that
guys
they're
are
gonna
just
be
snobs.
seeing it today. So
Adrian, the way I say interesting, you got to come up with a bit different word than snobs. Because,
Don't worry, Bong. I got your back, brother.
I love Bong. Listen, he like
Doesn't
as a
sound like
person,
it.
especially as a person, the interviews he does, he's so wholesome, but also kind of dark and witty, and like he's great. He's great. Okay, let's do some double features, pairings. What's something that you would recommend with this movie? Erica, what did you have?
we've been kind of referencing it a lot. But Okja, I definitely think that this would just be like a beautiful pair. They very much are in a line with each other as far as like messages that come across and just kind of like the destruction that humans cause wherever we kind of go. But highly, highly recommend. Gets you kind of thinking about how things are produced, how things are, how the actual like machinery behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'd highly recommend Okja, another one of our Bong Joon-ho movies. So
Yeah, I think any Bong movie would be a good pair with this because this movie has a little bit of different movies of his. But yeah, Adrian, what do you got?
I actually got two because I couldn't decide. I think I went with Elysium the first time. Matt Damon, similar concept where there's a elite people that live like out in the atmosphere, just out off the planet, and the planet is just going to shit. And the elite that are up there have all the technology, all the medicine, everything, and people trying to get up there to live.
It sounds almost like that other double feature you recommended, The Platform.
The
I forgot what
Platform.
movie that was for, but yeah, like
That was like a
there's
prison
there's like
movie.
levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's different levels inside a prison with food in the middle. But Elysium was a good one in like different classes. I think it was like that. But the more we went through this episode, I think Hunger Games fits a little more. I know it was a 3-pack series, but it was a little bit
But I was
better.
gonna
I
say,
like the
which
first
one
one.
is good?
I like the first one, but I think the second one is more of like the politics that go into it with like this one.
Shout out
So
to Suzanne Collins. She just came out with a new freaking book, and I can't wait to read it.
Shout out. Never seen The Hunger Games.
oh my gosh.
Mikey,
I'm working on.
you want to be a part of the revolution? You better go fucking watch those movies.
I mean, honestly, I'll tell you this: it's on my list for Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, these are the last movies he did, and that's my boy. So I'll definitely watch him.
Yeah, I think his absolutely last movie was Mockingjay
yeah.
Part 2, but he didn't.
Shout out Philip Seymour Hoffman.
They had to address some stuff that happened in the book because he does have like a long speech, and they end up doing it in a different way. But yeah.
My double feature pairing recommendation is The Prestige, Christopher Nolan film. It's got your boy Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, which is like in all of Nolan's movies. But this movie is very much dealing with, it's an old ass movie. It's almost, what year did it come out? 2006. Yeah, it's fine. So it also deals with cloning, right? But I think talking about like dialogue and writing and tying things together, The Prestige is incredible. I actually saw it again last year in a movie theater, and that experience bumped it to like, did I end up giving it 5 stars? Yeah, a 4.5. 4.5. It's almost there. Maybe the next rewatch it'll be a 5-star. But it's such a good movie. Like what it's doing, talking about the illusion of a magic trick. How do you do it? How do you get the audience in? And how do you make this trick be realistic, right? And part of the big trick they do deals with cloning. So I think if you want to stick with the cloning route, go check that movie out. If you want to do something completely different and have the actual double feature experience I had, go watch 10 Things I Hate About You. Great movie. You're going to feel good afterwards.
Or another one you can watch maybe is, Michael, for you specifically, is WALL-E. That would be a good one for you to see.
Like just in general or with this movie?
That's similar to this movie too. Yeah.
Really, huh?
Yeah, even with, well, just like the whole like space colony, that kind of deal.
I see. Okay, yeah, I like it. Well, it's Adrian's favorite part. He got lucky last time and got first pick when we stalked Giraffe. Or sorry,
not luck. He deserved the first pick.
He finally got his first pick in drafting stock. But this is, I think you'll agree, Erica, this is another movie, like, we're good. Like, whatever, between 1 to 3, like, there's plenty to
whoever
choose.
you end up picking from any of this is amazing.
I don't think you guys are going to pick mine anyway, so.
This guy's going to another producer.
Oh,
all right.
Nah.
Number 1.
It's
oh,
Adrian.
you son of a bitch. We see the algorithm is now rooting for you. All right. Number 2. Hey now.
Fake.
That's me.
Fake.
Excellent.
Do it
All
again.
right. This was the same order, I think, as last episode, right?
It was.
Adrian, yeah. Well, sorry, Erica.
It's okay.
Right.
I ended up with Sigourney Weaver. I'm not upset about
You're
it.
probably going to get who you want on this one anyways.
Yeah. All right, so who you going with then?
Just, it didn't matter if I was first or last. I would want this person. I'm a fan. I watched him in a series recently, and after that, I was like, ooh, I like him. Steven Yeun. He played Timo.
Oh,
I watched Beef, and that kind of with him and Ali Wong, and it turned me on to him, and I was like, okay, I like this guy.
He's
So yeah,
also in Nope by Jordan Peele.
he is.
obviously he was in Lost, right? Or
He's
Walking
in
Dead.
Okja.
Yeah,
And
he's in
Okja.
Okja, and then he's also
Minari.
in
Nari's great.
Yeah.
He's in the new
Nari's great.
Space Jam with LeBron. He's an actor in
I'm
32 movies.
I'm having flashbacks when you try to say Anya Taylor-Joy isn't a star, and then you just start listing
No,
all these movies.
misread
Yeah,
my
yeah,
words. It's
yeah.
a blockbuster star.
Just to
Yes.
follow up on that bit. I did a poll with the movie watching group that I'm with. They said no. 60% said no in that little poll.
Taylor-Joy? How can you be in a Mad Max movie? Split.
We
The
don't got
Witch.
we don't got to
Literally.
the people have spoken. We don't need to relitigate.
Anya, I'm
You're
sorry.
welcome, guys. I'm
I think-
I'm of the people.
You are
Yeah,
a
clearly.
fucking blockbuster star.
I am
Anya,
of the
bless you.
people, guys.
The brain off people. Anyways, just kidding.
We're the best kind of people, Mikey.
So it's my turn. Shit, man. Ostrich in the sand, head in the sand. Okay, so drafting stock. God, there's just such a plethora of people. Yeah, I mean, you got Toni Collette, you got Mark Ruffalo, you got Robert Pattinson. You could go. You can even go with what was her name again?
Naomi.
Naomi.
I mean, you could go Bong Joon-ho.
I could go Bong. I mean, fuck, man. Think. Future stock. Okay, if it wasn't. Okay. We need a moment. This is very difficult.
This is not fair. Next time, if you take this long,
Right?
I'm fucking drafting first.
We need to have a little sand
First of all, this is a podcast. You know, we need to have discussion and dialogue and all the things. So here's the thing. Just for being a smartass, Erica, you know I'm gonna fucking take.
Pattinson.
I'm going Mark Ruffalo. Let's go. Mike Ruffalo for the win. He's an incredible actor, already has an incredible career. Well, yeah, the Hulk. But honestly, I don't know if it was the first movie I saw with him, but one that sticks out is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He's in that movie. He's in Spotlight, incredible in Spotlight. If you guys ever watched that one, that's a great movie. But Mark Ruffalo.
You're forgetting his greatest movie.
You're gonna say 13 going on 30, aren't you? Yeah, I knew it. I know. And the fact that he's like an activist and fighting the power, I think that goes into the stock value as well. So, Mark Ruffalo, Erica, I hope you take who I think you're going to take now. But go ahead.
I'm not gonna take him.
Good. Oh, wow, going undrafted.
Well, here's the thing, right? A lot of white men on my draft.
You gotta mix it up.
Oh,
It's
some
not even that I
DEI.
have to mix it up. I just love it's really not that I have to mix it up. It's really that I just love Naomi. Like I fucking love her. I think she's very talented. I think she's fucking hilarious. And I want to draft her.
I love it.
Sorry for Robert Pattinson. Because I absolutely adore him. Like I was talking about him earlier. I think he is definitely brilliant and fucking amazing and unbelievably talented. Like I can't wait to just see like what his entire career gives us. But I love Naomi Aki. Like I love
That's
her
good,
and
yeah.
I really want to see how well she does this year. She does have a few other movies that are some are in post production and some are going to be coming out later in the year. But really love her as an actress. So I want to
She's got a bright future. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I'm stunned no one took the best performance in Robert Pattinson. I mean, he was incredible. And no, I mean, hopefully when the Batman 2 finally comes out, one of us will draft him because he's great. That's what I was gonna say. When we had the whole discussion around like, you know, who's today's superstar or like who's an actor, I mean, Robert Pattinson is it. Like, granted, it might not be Gen Z. Like,
I think so many people forget about him
Yeah.
because he's not a Hollywood presence. Like he very much like we were talking about this earlier about how a lot of British people have just like this uncanny nature to like remove themselves like from Hollywood if they don't want to be involved. And I think that really helps him as an individual just to kind of like experience life and experience different people without having to be in Hollywood. And we're gonna get a lot from him. But like I said, I'm really excited about Naomi. I think that she's gonna give us a lot that we didn't expect from her, and she's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Like
she's great.
I
She's
just
great.
I love her, and I would feel wrong not drafting her for this because I liked her performance in this movie. I thought that she did a great fucking job.
I
I love
think
seeing how badass she was.
if you've made it this far and for whatever reason you didn't watch the movie and you got the spoilers, I think the fact that you have Robert Pattinson, Tony Collette, Bong Joon-ho, that we didn't draft as far as like people that we want stock in, is a testament to the star power in this film, and everyone does a great job. Like acting wise, I think the performances are phenomenal across the board. So definitely go see Mickey 17. Erica, you mentioned this is the first movie you got to do in theater in a while. Do you want to be a voice that
Yeah.
encourages people to go to the theater?
No, 100%.
You're like,
I
no.
mean, no, I mean, it's kind of wild because if you know where I live, I'm not gonna announce it, but if you know, like generally the area where I live, there are a lot of local theaters that do discounted prices. So like Sundays before 6 p.m., $5. Tuesdays and Thursdays, $5 all day. So like if you have time during the week or even on a Sunday morning, a matinee kind of like showing, definitely get out there. But even the regular price was way cheaper than going to AMC,
Yeah.
to Regal, any of those big theaters.
Support local theaters for sure.
Support local theaters because, for one, they are cheaper. It's absolutely fucking wild how much cheaper they are. And two, like you said, you're helping the local community. You're getting out, and they had the big seats. So your girl was sitting cross-legged the entire time, all cozied up in my seat, watching this film. It was amazing. Loved it. I went by myself. I love doing a movie going by myself. It's
Percent.
perfect.
It's underrated.
Underrated. Highly underrated.
Don't let the lack of company stop you from going to the movie. You're
Yeah.
not going to talk during a movie, so just go, and then you
If
can
you're going to
debrief.
talk during a movie, don't fucking go. And
Correct.
I will
Stay home.
die on that hill.
Stay
I
home.
roll down to another death. Like,
Don't talk. Stay off your phone.
Yeah.
Stay home if that's what you need to do. Curious, did you have a full theater Sunday? You said you went Sunday evening, early
I
evening.
went last night.
Sorry, today's Sunday. We're recording
Saturday
today.
evening.
You went
Today's
Saturday. So a
recording
Saturday night. A Saturday
I
night.
went
How
on a
was it?
Saturday night. No, it was not full at
Tough.
all.
Yeah, it's not doing great in the box office, which
No. Which is
Which is tough.
upsetting because this is such a good
theater movie. Yeah.
theater movie. Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
marketing for it hasn't been like
Different.
pushed
I've
like,
seen
but neither
some.
was Parasite. Parasite wasn't pushed all that, like, at least not for me. Like, I don't see commercials for movies often, like, especially, and I imagine it's even worse for people younger, of the younger generation, like my kids. They're not watching TV, you know, like they're watching
in order to see like a trailer. You
in
mean?
order to see a commercial or a trailer. Like, they're watching, you know, highlights of a sports game. They're not watching the whole game, so they're not getting the commercials. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a great point. Is today's culture and society wants the quick click. You know what I mean? Like, there's actually a lot of debate going around. Like, for example, basketball. Are people watching basketball, or are people like getting in the discussion about basketball without watching the games by keeping up on podcasts or
Not after my
Highlights.
bracket's fucking busted.
it's already busted? March
Dude,
Madness is over for you.
Everybody's was, dude. Clemson fucked everybody.
Sorry about your luck. Tough beat. Well, that'll do it for our episode here. Mickey 17, I think we all say it's worth watching. Go to the theater. Go to independent theater. You get popcorn for less than $10, unlike AMC. A small popcorn, $9 fucking bucks. A small popcorn.
I
It
don't
probably
buy
wasn't
it.
$9. It was probably $9.50 or $9.75. Just so
After
you know.
tax, yeah, it depends where you live.
Why
No,
you just
that's probably the price. $9.50.
stick some candy in your purse and take it in?
Just really quick, 10 things I hate about you. When Heath Ledger's character is talking about how much the date is going to cost to Joey, who's paying him to take her out. He's like, well, a movie's going to be about $14, and then a popcorn that's going to bring us to $53. It's like, yeah,
That hasn't
pretty
changed.
much. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on all of our socials at Seeing This Pod. Our website, seeingthispod.com. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of our tribe. And we will see you on the next episode of Seeing This. Thank you guys for listening. Stay safe.